Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel and blog. I'm Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me for another card making tutorial. Today I want to give you a little bit of a sneak peek into a new stamp set called Oh So Eclectic. This is the stamp set that is featured on the front of the 2017 Annual Stampin' Up! Catalog. There are some layering possibilities and also a little bit of different interest in this stamp set. So I want to give you a little bit of a peek into how I've discovered these stamps will be used. This is a large image of a flower that is supposed to be the first layer, and then there's an outline that goes over it. The top line is rose red, the middle is fresh fig, which is a new in color, and the bottom is sweet sugar plum. As you can see, this is not a solid colored image. It's more of a mottled look. The first generation of ink is going to stamp off in one way, and the second generation of ink will give you a lighter look. On the very bottom, you would see that has the layering over it. This is one of the leaves on the top row, and then on the second row, then there is another leaf that goes. You can layer the leaves on top of one another. However, it kind of doesn't match up exactly, and it gives a different kind of a look. The top row is lemon lime twist. The middle row is tranquil tide, and the bottom row is garden green. Now the left hand column is first generation, and the right hand column is second generation. And here is the other image in the set, and that's for a flower with a stem. And you can see that even the third generation of ink will give you a different look. I know that it's going to come out in so many different ways. However, it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to how you choose that you would like the image to be featured. I kind of like the way that the third generation looks because it gives a lighter hint of color and allows the outline stamp that goes over it to be able to be used as more of a focal point. So for me, the third generation is looking pretty good. That first generation of ink there's a lot of ink that transfers over from the stamp to the stamp pad. So let's put this into practice and start doing some stamping. I'm using the stamp that has the tall flower, and I'm using soft sky ink. The first time that I put it down is on the right, and the second generation is on the left, and you can see that it gives a completely different look to this stamp. And I like the ability to be able to use my products to make more and get some more mileage of them. But it's going to take a little bit of time for me to be able to tell exactly how I want to feature everything. So right now is a good time for me to experiment. What I'm going to do here is use a first generation, and I'm using my scissors to fussy cut this leaf. There are no dies available yet this early in the game for this stamp set. However, I've had a look at the dies in the catalog, and there are going to be some really great possibilities. Also included in this stamp set are some different kind of, I guess you would call them interest, a different look of interest. Here is a group or a cluster of plus signs, and there's also a couple of different other possibilities that are in the stamp set as well. And it's going to allow you to use these to create a little bit of a background or just to create a bit of interest. The sentiments that are in this stamp set are really great, and I'm loving the font. It's not too small, and it's big enough to where it's going to be able to be featured really well. I'm using a triple banner punch to get a bit of a fishtail on the end of these two banner pieces. And this purple is actually one of the new cardstocks. It's called Fresh Fig, and it's pairing very nicely with Lemon Lime Twist. I'm not making much dimension to this card, so I've used some snail adhesive to adhere the panel down to the card base. And here's the little leaf cluster that I fussy cut, and I'm going to put this down partially underneath the sentiment. what I want to gain from this is I want this little sprig of leaves to go in contrast to the other sprig of leaves that shows texture. I want them to be close enough to be able to make one appear in the background and give some distance to the eye, but I want them to kind of complement each other as well. And on this little accent flower, I chose to not use the first layer and just use the second. So I'm attaching everything together with snail adhesive on this project and not using Stampin' Dimensionals, just because I want to keep it simple and keep it easy. And here's the inside of the card. I'm using that textured look to get a little bit more interest and get a lighter look to those leaves. And I'm using some liquid glue to adhere this panel down to the inside of the card. Thank you for joining me for another video. I hope you like this stamp set. It's going to definitely be something different. And I created an additional card as part of this project. And here's a look at the one on the right. It's a little more simplified, and I'm kind of liking that simple look. Thank you all for joining me for a sneak peek at Oh So Eclectic. See you again soon.
Thanks for watching the video. Have a good day!